Welcome to this Excel 2016 lesson on the fill handle, flash fill, and series fill. The fill handle is a great tool when you need to fill in cells with text, incremental numbers, or dates. When you select a cell containing text or a number, the contents can be copied by dragging the fill handle. The fill handle is the small square at the bottom right corner of the green selection indicator. Here's a cell containing text. If I select it and hover the mouse pointer over the fill handle, it changes to a black cross. Now you could drag the fill handle and it copies the text to the rows below. It does the same thing with numbers. If I select this number, hover the mouse pointer over the fill handle until it changes to a black cross, then drag the handle, it copies these numbers across the columns. Whichever way you drag, it copies. If I copy down the rows now, it copies the whole row down. I'll press Ctrl-Z a few times to get it back where it was. If I want to have the number increment as it's copied, first I drag the handle to copy the numbers. Then I click the Autofill option button that appears whenever you use the fill handle right next to it. And here I choose Fill Series, and the numbers increment each cell. When you have a cell with a time, date, month, day of the week, or text mixed with a number, Excel automatically increments the value each cell. For instance, if I select this cell with the time in it and drag the fill handle, it automatically increments 1 hour each cell. Now if I select this date and drag the fill handle, same thing. You can do it with months and days of the week with full names or abbreviations. It works across columns or down rows. If the cell contains text and a number, the number will automatically increment when you drag the fill handle. It will even do ordinal numbers. If I select and drag the fill handle here, I get first, second, third, and so on. Now if you don't want any of these to automatically increment, after you drag the fill handle, then click the Autofill Options button and choose Copy Cells, and it will copy the cells without incrementing the value. With dates, there are some special options. After you drag a date with the fill handle and click the Autofill Options button, you could choose Fill Weekdays. This will display only dates that fall on a weekday. Choose Fill Months, and it increments the same date in the following months. And Fill Years does the same thing with years. Weekdays will also work with days of the week. There, it skipped Saturday and Sunday. You can also create a pattern. For example, skip every other day. Here I have dates 2 days apart. I select both of them, then drag the fill handle, and it continues the pattern. When you have numbers set up in a pattern, the fill handle will automatically increment the numbers in the patterns you created. Here I have 0 and 5. I select both of them and drag, and they increment by 5. Very useful tool. Now to flash fill. Flash fill automatically fills data when it senses a pattern which exists in another column. From this column of names, I want to put the first and last names and initials in separate columns. So I click the first cell in the first name column and type Walter. Then press Enter. Now when I begin to type the second name, A pop-up appears. It sensed that I want to put the first names in this column. Press Enter, and there you go, it filled in all the names. It will also work if I want them in uppercase. I click the first cell in the last name column and type the last name in uppercase, then press Enter. Now I type the first letter of the second name, and there's the pop-up. Press Enter to accept it. It will sense when I want initials too. In the first row of the initials column, I type WT, press Enter, then type E in the second row, and it knows what I want. Press Enter, and the column is filled. Flash Fill is great for addresses. Here are some fictitious addresses. At least I hope they're fictitious. I'll click the first cell in the number column and type the address number. Press Enter. Now I'll type the first number of the second address, and it recognized the pattern. Press Enter to fill the column. Click the first row of the next column and type the street name, Delaware Avenue. Press Enter. Next row I type T, and it got it. Press Enter. Now the city. Click the first row in the city column, type Marston, then Enter. Next row, type an F. Got it. Press Enter to fill the column. Now I'll click the first row in the state column, type MI, then Enter. Type M. Here it seems to have some trouble recognizing the pattern, so I'll complete the state, then press Enter. Now that it has a second example, I'll press Ctrl E to have it try again. And it worked. It filled in the states. Sometimes it won't get it right away, and you'll need to give it a second example. Then press Ctrl E, and it will try again to find the pattern. If it can't find a pattern after you press Ctrl E, an error message will appear and let you know. Try to give it a few more examples and press Ctrl E again. Now I'll click the first cell in the postcode column and type 92929 and press Enter. Type the first number of the next postcode, and it seems to have trouble recognizing a pattern again. So I complete the second postcode and press Enter. Then I press Ctrl E, and it got it. Sometimes you have to coax it along a bit and give it more of a pattern, but most of the time it's spot on. This table is small, but if you had one with thousands of addresses, Flash Fill will save a lot of time. Lastly, I'll show you another way to fill incremental numbers without having to use the fill handle. Say you needed a column numbered 1 to 200. I don't want to drag the fill handle 200 rows. Use the Series Fill feature. Type the first number in a cell, then press Ctrl Enter. In the home ribbon, click Fill, then Series, or use the shortcut. Hold down Alt, press HFIS. In the dialog, it gives you the choice of series in row or in columns. I want the series in columns. Step value is how much to increment on each row. For this, I want it to be 1. Then stop value will be 200. Click OK. And there you are. The rows are numbered from 1 to 200. The series fill can also fill a pattern like the fill handle. I want numbers to increment by 10. I'll click B1 and type a 0, then press Ctrl Enter, and bring up the series fill by holding down Alt, press HFIS. I'll leave it on series in rows this time. Then for the step value, I'll put a 10. For stop value, 100. Press OK. The numbers increment by 10 across row 1. The step value is the increment, and the stop value is the value you want it to stop at. Another option in the series fill to show you, the growth option. First, I'll click in this cell and type a 1. Control Enter. Hold down Alt, press HFIS to bring up the series dialog. I'll select columns for this. Now if you select growth, the series will be filled by multiplying the step value each time. I'll put a 2 in the step value and the stop value at 200. Press OK. And as you see in each cell, the value is getting multiplied by 2. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and so on. When it got to 128, it stopped, because 2 times 128 is more than the stop value of 200. Though the series fill will also work with dates, I found it's easier just to use the fill handle when you're dealing with dates. Well, that's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching.